What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lair Pro Shop YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on a deck that I've been super excited to get out for you guys. So we're going to be doing a review on the Apex 6-wide deck. As you guys have probably seen in a few of our recent videos, I've been riding this one. I'm on the 6x21 size. I've been riding this deck for about a month now. I've been able to test it quite a few times and really try the tricks I really like to do and try some new ones as well. I feel like now's the time to really give my full thoughts on it and give you guys a review. I just want to let you guys know beforehand that Apex did not provide any of these parts to us, so this is a completely unbiased review. I'm just going to give you guys all my thoughts on it and just let you guys know if you should get this deck or not. For this review, we're going to be splitting it up into two different sections. Our first section is going to be the accessibility of the deck. So we're going to go over a bunch of things like the different colors that it comes in, the different sizes, what it's compatible with, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go into the actual how the deck rides. So we're going to go to a skate park and try that with a bunch of different tricks and stuff and give you guys a full run through of how the deck actually rides when you're out hitting the streets and hitting the parks on it. So yeah, let's get right into this review. In regular Apex fashion, these decks look absolutely amazing. They're super good at designing them and they just have a really sleek look to them. The 6-wide Apex deck comes in two different sizes. There is the 6x21, which I am currently riding on my scooter right now, as well as the 6x22. Now these decks do come in three different colorways. There is the red that I'm holding right in front of me here, the chrome or raw one that I'm riding, and there's also a black version. Now, if you guys want other colorways, I believe Apex has a section on their website where you can customize and make your own 6-wide deck. That might give you some more options for different colorways, but if you're looking to buy this from your local retailer, odds are they'll only have one of the three different colorways that I just mentioned. One of the great things about this deck is for the 6x21 size, it's one of the few decks that are actually made in that size. You can't really find any other 6x21 decks out there besides the Root Extension deck. That one does come with a 6x21 size. But other than that, this is one of the few decks that you can get in this size. And in my personal opinion, I used to ride a 5x20.5 deck and I always wanted to go up in width, but not too much in length. So the 6x21 for me personally is the perfect size to expand the width of your deck without gaining too much length, because other than that, all the 6-wide decks that are on the market are usually either 21.5 and above. The closest size besides these would be the North Willow deck, which does come in a 6x21.5. We're going to go on to the compatibility of this deck, but first, before we do that, I just want to go over some of the specs. Starting with the head tube angle, this deck comes with a head tube angle of 82.5 degrees, which is roughly about the same as every other Apex deck that you have. So if you're going from one Apex deck to another, it's going to be the exact same, so you don't have to worry about a different head tube angle. The material that these decks are made of is 6082 aluminum, which is the same material that Apex has used for the rest of their decks, meaning that these decks will be pretty light for the size that they are, but also because of that, it is a softer aluminum, which means depending on what you're grinding on, whether it's a ledge or a rail, you might stick in some parts. We will go over that a little bit later in the riding section, but just for the time being, I just wanted to mention that's what kind of material this deck is made from. The pegs are a 7075 aluminum, so it's a little bit different of a material, but these I find do grind pretty well on ledges. Again, we'll go into that a little bit later in this video. The weight of these decks for the size that they are is really good. The 22 size comes in around 3.88 pounds and the 21 size comes in around 3.81 pounds. If you guys are looking for a really light 6-wide deck, Apex I feel like is the way to go for that. There aren't going to be many other 6-wide decks out there that come close in this weight. As far as compatibility goes with this deck, if you are riding bigger wheels, you will not be able to ride them on this deck. This deck is only compatible with 24mm wheels with the spacers that they have in here. Your only option in regards to riding bigger wheels would be if you have a wheel where the core is 24mm and the urethane is a bit wider. Like Oath has some wheels like that. I believe Lucky does as well. So if you are hoping to ride wider wheels, that might be the only option for this specific deck. In regards to compatibility with other parts, everything is pretty much compatible. Apex obviously works best with Apex products. So if you are already riding Apex products, you know that this deck is going to work really well with those. But if you are riding different parts. For example, I'm currently riding an Ethic Marrow fork with this, and it works fine. I do have an Apex headset and an Apex clamp on here as well, so we know that those parts will work the best. When you buy this deck, it does only come with the fender that you can see here. Now you can add one of the Apex brakes onto it as well, as we have on this deck. So if you guys are looking to ride just a regular Apex brake, you are able to do that, but the deck, when you buy it, does come with a fender on it. So if you do want to get an Apex brake, you will have to look into getting one to add to it as well. Now, with all that being said, the weight of the deck, the sizes that it comes in, the colorways and everything, this deck is going to come at a pretty hefty price point. These decks come in around 580 Canadian dollars, which is a crazy amount for a scooter deck. If you guys are looking to get a 6x22 size deck and you don't necessarily need the Apex name and the deck, then there are going to be much cheaper options to go for. Now, if you guys are looking to just get a 6x21 deck, obviously there aren't many other options out there besides the root extension deck. So if you guys are willing to spend the hefty $580 that this deck is, then you are getting a very solid, strong, super light deck for that, but it's whether you want to spend that much money on the deck or not is where this kind of comes to. We're going to move on to the riding section of this video. I went over to Railside Skatepark earlier today and got some footage, so we're going to be showing you guys that and just going over everything that I liked and didn't like about actually riding this deck. So yeah, we'll see you guys over there. All right, we are here at Railside Skatepark. I've got the Apex 6 wide on, and we're just gonna cruise around and I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go. But yeah, let's start off with some overheads on this quarter. I'm just gonna kind of go through a bunch of different kinds of tricks. I'm gonna do like different tail ups and stuff. I'm gonna practice overheads, see how it rides with those, and then we'll get into doing some rails and grinds and stuff later, because that's the one that I'm not the best at, but we're gonna see how I am with them. So a few things I've noticed about this deck in the last little bit I've been riding it. A lot of my tricks, like my general tricks, have still stayed. All my tail ups have been really good. Finger whips, overheads have been great. Of course, if you're doing double overheads, then it is gonna be a bit more tricky to whip this thing around. But overall, if you're just doing your kind of average tricks, then it still holds up super nice. I'll do a couple of those right now. One thing I really love about Apex decks, the sides of them have a little bit of a curve to it, so finger whips don't hurt too much at all. Tail whips on this thing feel super nice. They come around really quick. They really don't feel too much different than doing them on any of the other Apex decks. And obviously on the smaller decks, they are gonna whip a little quicker, but on this one, it doesn't feel too bad at all. I'm still able to do quite a bit. Here, even I'll do a triple up flat. Easy. All right, well, I want to test out the strength of this thing, so I've only got one trick in mind that'll be the best way to test out the strength of it. And you guys are about to see that right now. And well, it holds up pretty well from that, so thumbs up for strength. If you guys are familiar with my riding, you know that rails are my strongest suit. Being on a 6 wide, I've been able to learn a lot more stuff, so we're gonna do a couple tricks on here. I've noticed with grinds, this deck has actually held up really nice. I haven't put any wax on here myself, but this rail is pretty waxed and it seems to slide super well. Depending on the ledge that you're riding, some grinds will stick. These back ends hold up really nice for grinds like 5.0s and 50s. They do recommend that over time, you see they do get worn down a little bit on here. You can easily just turn those and try and grind down the other sides of it. So it is recommended that you do that with these, and your back ends will end up lasting you a lot longer. That's a new learn for me. One of my favorite things about Apex decks is the amount of blunt space that you get. So if you look up here, you have so much space for blunts. They're super easy to get into. So one of my favorite things about this deck is being able to easily land into a blunt. So I'll show you one right now. Blunt stalls feel effortless on this deck. Blunt slides, on the other hand, I'm not quite sure. I'm not good at them. And of course, 5.0 and front 5.0 stalls feel super nice to do as well. I'm even able to get into whip 5.0 on this deck, which is saying something. I'm not really normally good at those. Overall thoughts on this deck after a quick ride on it. This thing is super easy to whip and flip around. I feel like tail whips, overheads still feel very effortless for me on this. Grinds feel really good on this thing. Depending on what ledge or rail you are grinding on, it might be a bit sticky at times, but if you have wax and the rail is waxed, then you shouldn't have too many issues. But with that being said, you might find yourself sticking on a couple things every now and then. Blunt stalls feel great. There's a ton of room for those. 5.0s and front 5.0s feel really solid with these back ends. These back ends aren't going to be really caving in on you anytime soon. I've had no issues with that. They've stayed super strong, and as long as you turn them every now and then to make sure that you kind of wear them out on all sides, you should be golden, and these things will last you a very, very, very long time. We're gonna head back over to the shop and we'll give you guys overall final thoughts on this thing. So we'll see you guys there. All right, so now you guys have heard about all the accessibility and compatibility options with this deck and what it comes in, as well as how it rides in a skate park and when you're doing all certain kinds of tricks. Really, the question is, who is this deck for? Now, if you are a bigger rider like myself and you tend to like to do more park tricks, but do want to venture into doing more grinds and ledges and everything like that, then this deck is a really good choice for you. I've been able to learn a lot on this deck just in the past month of riding it. Really, the only downside to this deck when it comes down to it is the price point of it. If you guys are willing to spend the hefty $580 on this deck, then I'd say absolutely go for it. It's gonna last you a long time. You're gonna be able to keep a lot of your same tricks while keeping a bigger scooter. But if you are not willing to spend the $580 on this deck, there are similar deck sizes out there from different companies. Obviously, you're not gonna find too many of the 6x21 because the only really other one out there is the Root extension deck, but even that is a bit cheaper than this. But yeah, if you guys do have the money for it, I 100% recommend go for it. It is an amazing deck. I've had an amazing time riding it, and I think you will too. Even though you're spending that much money on it, it will last you a super long time. That is my unbiased review on the Apex 6x21 and 6x22 deck. We don't currently sell them at the moment. If you guys are interested in them and you do want to see us carry them, please let us know down in the comments below. And if you guys want us to review any other products on this channel, let us know. And if you are another company and you want us to review your product, let us know down below. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.